Intergalactic Olympics are gathering. All creeds and cultures of the galaxy are arriving and greeting each other. Suddenly, a fleet of spaceships appears, blasting, "We will rock you." Everyone freezes. The humans are here. The problem wasn't that the humans were there. The problem was that their myriad of cultures had developed forth and sent every one of their champions with them, while, say, the Tarsary, who were known for exemplification in the culinary arts, and a diverse selection of pan-flutes, programming, and general dance, would send a handful of their best athletes. The humans took on a completely different and altogether more annoying tactic. For every single Olympic event, they sent at least one person. While humanity was from a far-flung corner of the universe that didn't interact much with others, not from lack of trying, but simply intergalactic positioning made their trade mostly insular, with their nearest partners being uplifted races of their own creation. It was during the Olympics that they put on display everything a human could do. And it wasn't that humans were even that good at the obscure sport of Carnellus, where people slung deactivated landmines across the surface of pools of lime water, with the intention of knocking other floating landmines away from the center of the pool. Based, of course, on the legendary toss made by Lord Tenellus, whose brave action during the Battle of Trinori saved his father's vessel from being breached by separatists. Nor was it that humans were particularly good at most of the games on display. It was simply sheer force of will. Every human that arrived was in the peak of condition for the sport, and it wasn't even that they were rude about it either. This is the height of human culture. In the large, macroscopic view of the galaxy, they weren't exceptional at almost anything they tried. The galactic standard in their bizarre way. The Jovi were the masters of culinary craft, but the human chefs would manage at least a bronze almost every time, putting together some bastardized version of the best cuisine in the galaxy, haphazardly assembling things in a manner that pleased even the segmented eyes of the judges, clicking their pedipalps against one another in preparation. But what was exceptional was that despite never, in the history of their attendance, sweeping the golds or the platinums, or even the electrium medals, the humans never give up. So it was that every year the humans arrived, there was only one winner for most total medals earned per species: humanity. All brass, bronze, copper, and a few other lesser medals, but every year they beat everyone else out in sheer volume of competition. Then they throw the best damn parties in the universe. The Olympic Authority would like to remind you that the Peace Office will be checking IDs at the door this year, so if you would all please not set the city on fire this time, and don't take the humans up on their own sports. Satellite jousting is not as big of a joke as they would have you believe. Thank you for tuning into your Astral Olympic channel. We welcome you to tell us what you think with your tablets about our experimental history segment. And now for the games. Intergalactic Olympics are gathering. All creeds and cultures of the galaxy are arriving and greeting each other. Suddenly, a fleet of spaceships appears, blasting, "We will rock you." Everyone freezes. The humans are here. The scoreboard was littered with thousands of dots of light. Every event in the entire competition was arranged in fonts so small that the orbiting micro-cameras each had to combine the images in order to get any real traction on viewing the individual scorers, medal earners, and what category they were invested in. But they were in space for a very special competition, and for our final event, we have humanity's choice sport. They only recently accrued the points for it, so let's hear it for the newest Olympic sport. Satellite jousting! The announcer sat inside of his geosynchronous vessel and waited as the human referee, her blonde hair drifting about her shoulders, starting to read off the rules. A satellite whizzed by past the window, solar panels adjusting their distance and location. Today's combatants will be the Earth champion jouster Elroy Manny. He waited a few seconds for the appropriate cheers from the in-studio crowd, almost entirely human, to die down. And he will be facing the Reign of Terror, the Avalanche of Maphador, and also single Ternod. Another satellite whizzed by. But enough about me. Let's get to the live cameras. Elroy adjusted how his bright red spacesuit fell across his body and ran his gloved hands down the handlebars of his motorbike. He kicked the engine and felt it whir and just barely take in the low oxygen of the upper atmosphere. He had trained so long for this. They had all trained so long for this. He wasn't going down at the hands of an alien, not when humanity's pride was finally on the line. The joust drooped over top of the motorbike's handlebars, and he picked it up and kept it level. One by one, his attendants in the same bright red humanity colors attached his armor. Piece by piece, it clicked, and heat sealed to his body, making him look superhuman, like one of the aliens were when they had beaten humanity at discus throwing. They weren't bitter about that, for humanity had long since found better sports. He revved his engine and saw on the HUD floating across his eyes the checkered flags to get ready. "Good luck," his mother said through a tablet message linked to his headset. "I don't need luck, Mother," Elroy declared. "I have gravity on my side." The bike revved one more time, and the flags dropped. In the late 23rd century, humanity had too many decaying satellites and too many people willing to risk it all. Heat resistance had improved to the point that skydiving with satellites was possible. Not only possible, but overdone. There was only one logical extrapolation. Elroy revved the bike one more time, and then the tire squealed across the solar panels, cutting a path through low Earth air. Then the rockets deployed in his bike, and he popped a wheelie. The drugs injected into his body were perfectly legal, and indeed, necessary to the sport. They sped up the way his mind worked so he could take in the details for impact. The satellite hurtling towards him, a pink-clad alien strapped with armor, lance wavering in the wind as it tried to control the bike into a matching wheelie. They locked eyes, human and otherworldly being. They knew their purpose in that moment, and their lances pointed at each other. Then the bikes ran out of solar panel. There was silence. 2 motorcycles flew through the air as the planet below went mad with anticipation, drifting at each other at well over Mach speeds, faster than what little sounds they made in that almost bereft atmosphere. Eyes locked, hearts throbbing, Elroy stared. He blinked once, and the other competitor was mere feet away from him. His arms went rigid, hard, straight out, then the bone-stopping collision that made his teeth ache and his nerves shudder as they both stopped, perfectly still. Then their satellites collided behind them in a massive collapse of broken steel and rotting metal, and they plunged into the atmosphere below. The alien lost their lance first, and would you look at that, humanity has finally taken a gold medal of their own.